What is up, everybody? Doomwake here. Welcome back to another modern video on the channel. As always, before we continue, if you enjoy the content, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of the video. Today, I've gotten a lot of requests from people over the past couple of days asking what do I think about Death Shadow in the current metagame with the addition of Modern Horizons 2. So today, we're going to be trying out Death Shadow and all of its friends. Death Shadow is a deck that's been around for quite some time. I believe it was originally iterated as Grixis, kind of moved on to Red-Black, maybe took a dip in Mardu, maybe back to Red-Black, but it's kind of been a pretty constant player throughout for probably over the past, I would say ever since Stubborn Denial. That was really when it kind of popped off, Stubborn Denial and Grimag Angler, which was Constant here. So ever since those were introduced, that's kind of where Grixis first took off, and then it's iterated a few times since then. But we have some new Modern Horizons 2 cards, so let's just kind of go over the threat base first and foremost. So we have Scourge of the Sky, Claves, and Death Shadow. So, for those of you who don't know, Death Shadow, I can't expand it because Magic Online decides to bug sometimes. It's a 1 mana 13/13, pretty powerful. But it has -X, where X is your life total. So if you're at 20 life, you can't play it. If you're at 15 life, you can't play it. You need to be at less than 13. So if you're at 12, it's a 1/1. If you're at 11, it's a 2/2, so on and so forth. So we want to have a lot of cards that deal ourselves damage. Scourge of the Sky Claves works in a similar fashion. It's a little bit different though. So it's a 2 mana star. When you cast a spell, if it was kicked, you can mostly ignore that. I mean, it might come up because we have Ragavan at Generate Treasures, but it's probably not going to come up. Although it would be sweet if it did. But its power and toughness are each equal to 20 minus the highest life total among players. Okay. So what does that mean? Okay, if I'm at 15 and my opponent's at 20, I can't play it because they're the highest life total, right? If I'm at 15 and my opponent's at 15, or it's a 5/5 because both players are at 15. If, that's kind of how it goes. If I'm at 13 and they're at 11, it's a 7/7 because I have the highest life total. It checks whatever's the highest life total is, 20 minus that number. So similar to Death Shadow in the sense that you obviously still want to deal yourself a bunch of damage so you can turn this thing on, but you also have to manage their life total as well. So there's a bit of a dance there, but like managing both players' life totals and making sure that you can always, cast the Scourge and get the maximum value out of it to its fullest potential. So those are kind of our big hitters. And what we have, let me just move this over here so you can it makes me easier. It makes it easier for me to just kind of move stuff over. And then we have our other one drop. So the one thing about Scourge of the Sky Claves that you have to realize is because you have to manage their life total as well, it plays very well with additional aggressive one drops, right? So previous versions of this deck have played Bomat Courier, Monastery Swift Spear, Hex Shrinker, things like that. You just want 1 mana cards that deal your opponent damage because you want to make sure that in the scenario where they don't deal themselves damage on turn 1, you can still play it on turn 2. So if they, let's say, you go land 1 drop, they go tap Shockland, they don't take any damage. Well, you want to make sure that you can attack with your 1 drop that you played on turn 1 so you can play the Scourge on turn 2 regardless of what land they play. So we want to pair it with aggressive 1-drops, and it just so happens that Modern Horizons 2 gave us 2 pretty good aggressive 1-drops. First being Dragon's Rage Channeler. This is going to be the first time that we're playing this card in the channel, and I've been playing this card a bit on my Twitch stream over the last couple of days, and it has felt really good. I am a huge fan of this card, especially in combination with Mishra's Bauble and discard spells and Lightning Bolt like we have here. It's very, very easy to turn on because it kind of fuels itself. And, 1 mana 3/3 flyer is pretty messed up. And even once you get the 1 mana 3/3 flyer, it still does more for you. It's still, making sure that you draw gas later in the game. If you draw, Thoughtseize and Lightning Bolts, you can just fire them off to Surveil 1, make sure that the gas is flowing. So, very, very, very good card. It also enables something that some of the Death Shadow decks haven't played in the past, which is Kroxa. Normally, you'll see this maybe as a 1 of, maybe 0 copies, maybe some in the sideboard. I'm electing to go with 2 here, which might be a lot, but we do have Dragon's Rage Channeler to fuel the escape part of Kroxa. So I think that we can, aggressively bin cards and potentially find Croxa. So I think it's worth playing 2 copies if you're going to play Dragon's Rage Channeler. But I could definitely see going to 1 or 0 copies of Croxa here. And then the other aggressive 1-drop that we're pairing with our Scourge is Ragavan, Nimble Pilferer, the classic, not the classic, but the new monkey. You saw this in our last video with the Ponza deck. Very powerful when you play it on turn 1. Just creates this overwhelming advantage if your opponent cannot, or if your opponent doesn't remove it. So definitely a powerful card. Definitely one that's worth playing here. It is kind of cute that you can obviously, if you get a bunch of treasures, you get to kick Scourge a little bit quicker. I've played a league or 2 with this deck that hasn't come up yet, but I would love to see it come up. So yeah, not much to say about Ragavan, other than it's just a really good 1-drop. Makes a lot of sense. Tax for 2 allows you to play Scourge on turn 2 and gives you some pretty big advantages. And then we go to the spells. So we have the aforementioned Mishra's Baubles to go with Dragon's Rage Channeler. Mishra's Baubles just kind of been a staple in Death Shadow. Death Shadow decks typically want to play a whole bunch of fetch lands so they can turn on Death Shadow, because fetch plus shock is 3 damage to yourself. So that's kind of the damage to ourselves that we're doing with Death Shadow. So typically they just want to play a bunch of fetch lands, and when you have a bunch of fetch lands and Croxas, Bauble gets a lot better. So choosing to play 4 copies of Bauble, and then our removal spell package. So typically in this spot you'll see like multiple copies of Dismembers and Fatal Push. We are choosing to eschew Fatal Push, and we're basically splashing white for just Prismatic Ending. We have some Wear Tears in the sideboard, but you could obviously make those into Abrades and potentially just not splash and play Fatal Push. But I think that Prismatic Ending is probably the best removal spell available to the entirety of Modern, maybe with the exception of... No, it's probably better than Path to Exile. I think Prismatic Ending might just be the best removal spell right now. Especially one that you can frequently cast for 1 mana. It just does so much. It kills, the range that this thing kills, from Renin 6 to Construct tokens to Teferi to you name it, and you have Ragavan to generate treasures if you need to have more colors than just 3. The card just does it all. It exiles cookbooks, it exiles ovens. It's just, the list is endless. I mean, obviously it just says exile target non-land permanent. But there's just so many things that for 1 or 0 mana that are just kind of hard for decks like this that would typically, hard for decks like this to typically deal with, like your cookbooks, your ovens, outside of like Kolaghan's Command that costs 3 mana, and this just cleanly answers it for 1 mana. Also, Exile definitely comes up from time to time. I've killed a Croxa with it before for 3 mana. So just overall, I think just definitely worth the splash. And you don't have to work too hard on the splash. You just add a couple of white shocklands and it's fine. So I think it's definitely worth it. We have 1 copy of Dismember, 1 copy of Seal of Fire. Usually you'll see 2 Dismembers. We're going to split 1 and 1 with Seal because we have Dragon's Rage Channeler for Delirium, and we're also a Lurrus deck, don't forget that. So Seal's a little bit better there. 4 copies of Lightning Bolt, not much to say there. Just the go-to for Death Shadow. The reason Death Shadow always wants to play 4 bolts is because you'll see, hopefully we'll see it in the video, frequently there are lines where you're just going to bolt yourself to turn on your Death Shadow. So that definitely comes up from time to time, so hopefully we'll go ahead and see that in action. 4 copies of Thoughtseize, 3 copies of Inquisition for our discard spells. I'm electing to go with more discard because we're playing Dragon's Rage Channeler and Ragavan, so like discard to protect the Ragavan, more discard spells, more 1-mana spells for Channeler, just makes a little bit more sense. Sometimes you'll see 6 discard spells. And then the old standby, 2 copies of Battle Rage. I'm not actually sure how good Battle Rage is in the format right now, but it just felt like I couldn't leave it at home with 4 Death Shadows, 4 Scourges, so I'm going to go ahead and play that. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, I've had a very stuffy, runny nose today. Alright, now the mana base, 3 copies of Blood Crypt, a Godless Shrine, and a Sacred Foundry. So, normally you'll see, usually 5 Shocklands is about the right number. Even when I'm playing Rakdos Shadow, I typically play 4 Blood Crypt, and I'll even play 1 off-color Shockland, just because I want a 5th Shockland anyways. So now that we have with our Splashing White, we definitely have the excuse to play 5 Shocklands. But pretty standard mana base, 5 Shocklands, 10 Fetch Lands, 2 Basics, 2 Pain Lands. Not really much there. Pain Lands are pretty good with Death Shadow, but we want to make sure we're playing a decent number of Fetch Lands to be able to turn on our Death Shadows. Fetch plus shock is kind of the classic combination there. And then, to go to the sideboard, we are a Lurrus deck, so gonna put our Lurrus over there. We have our control sort of grindy package of 2 Kolaghan's Commands, 3 Confidants. Obviously, Confidant's not a card that you really ever want to main deck because it's not very good against aggressive strategies. But I think there are enough mid-range / control decks that Confidant is actually pretty good against. And Kolaghan's Command, just really good against control, rebuying Lurrus, rebuying Ragavans or Channelers. It's just always going to be a 2-for-1, just one of the better cards you can play against control decks. 2 copies of Unholy Heat. I originally had Fatal Push, and then realized that we're turning on Delirium for Dragon's Rage Channeler pretty often, and this thing is just 1 mana kill anything if we have Delirium. It's 6 damage, kills Primeval Titan, which Fatal Push can't do. There's definitely some other stuff that it also kills Teferi, Planeswalkers, it kills Teferi, it kills Red and 6, Liliana, anything like that, which Fatal Push can't do. So I think it's just a little bit more versatile if you're consistently turning on Delirium. 2 copies of Explosives for the Urza Saga decks, kills a bunch of constructs, and it also, on 1, you can blow up like an oven or a cookbook or something like that. 3 Soul Guides, Lurrus Mirrors, and Dredge, and Asmo, Vengevine decks, stuff like that. And then Wear Tear, again, Saga, Amulet. It's good against Affinity, and basically any deck that has Urza Saga, because you can blow up an enchantment, which is the Urza Saga land, so you can just 1 mana Stone Rain them. So just very nicely, very cleanly answers Urza Saga. So with that, that's the deck list. That's all I got. Make sure to subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you in just a little bit for round number 1. Alrighty, YouTube, we're back here for round number 1. Mardu, Death Shadow. Let's take a look and see what we got. We're on the draw, but we do have a turn 1 Ragavan into a turn 2 Kroxa. Okay, this hand's not too bad. We'll go ahead and keep this. If Ragavan dies, we have a good play on turn 2. Could potentially set up Scourge if Ragavan doesn't die and connects a couple times. So, I'll definitely keep this. And we'll see what we're up against. They mulled the 6. Fiery Islet could be Prowess. Probably Prowess. Delver. Delverino, huh? Okay. What am I doing with my bauble? I think I'm saving it. Because I'm 100% doing this regardless. Just playing Ragavan. And I want to save the bauble in case I draw Channeler so I can get a Surveil. As well as, even if I don't draw a Channeler, I can bauble myself and then have a fetch land up to see if I want to shuffle the card away. So, example, if the card's a land or if it's bad, then I can shuffle it away with Bloodstained Mire. Definitely not blocking. Well, I assume they have a removal spell, but I'm never blocking there. Okay, let's attack first. Have to imagine this is dying. It is. Okay, so now I can bauble myself. Take a peek. It's another Ragavan. It's not a removal spell, but I think it's still good enough to where I'm not going to shuffle it away. The next turn I could potentially get another basic if I want to preserve my life total. Play second Kroxa, make them discard another card, and then play Ragavan. And the nice thing about this is if they flip Delver, that means they're not drawing a second land. So, and if they do draw a second land, they're not flipping Delver. So it's kind of okay for me either way. We got Basic Island. They can't play Murktide Regent quite yet. Yeah, makes sense. So let's see if they put a card on top. Set up their Delver. Put 2 cards on top. Okay. So Delver is probably flipping. Have to expect that. They have another Delver. Okay, that's probably worst case scenario. Prismatic Ending is not bad. If I just dashed Ragavan first. Especially because they may have put a spell on top and a land on underneath. So if I dash Ragavan and exile a spell, then it's pretty good for me. Especially if it's a bolt. Because if for some reason they choose not to block, like maybe there's a situation where they put 2 spells on top, they don't block thinking they get to flip the Delver. And like if they put a bolt on top, I can just bolt the Delver, play land, ending the Delver. But I have to imagine they're blocking here. Yeah, okay. But this is good because now I can just kill the other Delver. Just get probably red-white. Yeah. Oops, can't play that. They do get to play Murktide Regent if they have it, which would be a 5/5. Not easy for me to kill. It seems like they do have a Regent. They have a Channeler. Okay, that's potentially beatable. Channeler Visions. Well, hopefully we draw a land, and we can just slam Kroxa. Even if we don't draw a land, we can just play Scourge, which is still pretty good. And they went bottom top. Okay, I want to see what they topped. They topped a Lightning Bolt. Alright, play a Scourge. It's a 5/5, so it won't necessarily get bolted. And now if I draw a removal spell on my upkeep, on their upkeep, excuse me, then I can bolt the Channeler before they draw the Lightning Bolt. Another Scourge. Not bad. Not bad. Now remember, they have a bolt, so if they choose to bolt, or if they hold the bolt, then we're on a 3-turn clock, right? Because the Channeler is a 3/3. I guess they could have another bolt, and then we're just dead in 2. So maybe we have to go for TBR? TBR does present lethal. I don't know that I want to go for it, though. Hopefully we draw, like, an Inquisition. Because they could have an Unholy Heat. That's the issue. Oh, well, that's really good. Okay, now I'll just attack. No, I don't think I'm going to go for TBR. Yeah, I'm just going to let damage happen, put them to 10. Prismatic ending the Channeler. I guess I could Prismatic... I should have Prismatic ending first, because if they counter this, then I can just lethal them with a TBR. Yeah, this was bad. So they're bolting me. Yeah, I definitely should have Prismatic ending pre-combat, because then if they counter this... Yeah. Because now I think they might have... If they have 2 more bolts and they find another red source... Yeah, I should have Prismatic ending pre-combat, for sure. Because once they tap a mana and don't have... Once they tap a mana and don't have Unholy Heat or Counterspell available, I know the green light. I have the green light for lethal, so that was a small misstep. Thankfully, didn't get punished, but... Alright, Explosives I think is pretty good against them. It does not kill Murktide Regent, but it does kill Delver and Channeler. Unholy Heat also good. I think this is not a Bob matchup. Call against Command I think is a little too slow. I kind of think this is not a Kroxa matchup. And... I think I want TBR. I like all my cards, to be honest with you. I like the Dismember because it's one of my few potential answers to a Regent. Like, I don't really have a lot of ways to kill Regent. Murktide Regent. I could trim on some discard. I could trim on Ragavan on the draw. Maybe like 1 Inquisition, 1 Ragavan. Just go a little bit lighter. Keep my stickier threats. I don't know if that's right, but I'll try it. I kind of have to keep the Seal of Fire if I'm bringing an Unholy Heat, because heat with Delirium is another way that I could potentially kill a Regent if it's not a 7/7 or 8/8. 7/7 or an 8/8. Excuse me. Yeah, I like this hand. This hand has a Channeler, and if they kill the Channeler, then I can Explosives on 1, and maybe that can do some good work. So I'll keep this. Seems okay. It's not the most exciting hand in the world, because 2 Scourges, if they don't deal themselves damage, are kind of awkward. But Hopefully they cooperate. It looks like they are. That's good for me. I think I'm just going to bolt that before. So it's kind of awkward. So I could bolt this, which makes makes it so they can't get triggers off of it. Yeah, it is kind of awkward with the explosives in hand, but especially if they deal themselves one more point of damage, I can just go shock, play a 4/4 Scourge, which they can't kill with Lightning Bolt. So I think I like this line, but there is some potential consideration. They're just playing Channeler there. But then if they, like, let's say cast a cantrip and bolt my Channeler, they just get a lot of value out of theirs. And they mulligan, so I think I'd prefer them to get less looks when they're already on a mulligan, if that makes sense. So I could run out a Channeler. The reason I wouldn't want to play Scourge is if they have Lightning Bolt. And they put 2 cards on top. It is much more mana efficient to run out Scourge, but at the same time, I also don't want Channeler to get, or Scourge to get bolted. So I think I'm just going to play Channeler and then play a Blood Crypt untapped. And just pass. I'm not going to play the explosives yet because they sometimes have Sprite Dragon. So I might want to do this on 2 if they have that. So they can play Regent, but it's only a 4/4. It's still pretty big. Looks like they're choosing to do nada. Drew a Death Shadow, which is not terrible. Let's attack first. I can't play the Death Shadow this turn, but... Alright, they're bolting the Channeler. Now that they have Delirium online, they can Unholy Heat the Scourge. I could also just put Lurrus in my hand. That's not the worst idea either. And then next turn, potentially just double Scourge. Yeah, what if we just did that? I just put Lurrus in my hand. It's a lot worse if they have a Regent, because now they can play a 5/5 Regent. And I'm not really that close on Delirium. Like, I guess hypothetically, I could Explosives on 0, crack it, sack the fetch land, that's 4 types, because instant creature, artifact, land, and then Unholy Heat it, but, I mean, that's obviously not a very good use of my resources. And they do have a 5/5. But now I can play some 6/6s. Which... Alright, yeah, I'm down. Just get a basic swamp. Play some... Oh, no, not that. Let's play some 6/6s. Now that their graveyard is gone, they can't Unholy Heat these. It's not quite lethal, even if they don't deal themselves damage. What is this? Casting Subtlety. Okay. I think they have 1 card in their hand? Given that I have another Scourge, I think I should bottom this. Yeah, I think I should bottom that. Because they attack me for 5. And then I go to 8, and then I can play a Shadow. Just attack for 6, play a Shadow, hope they don't find a Bolt. Soul Guide Lantern. Okay. That doesn't seem like it does anything, but it does cut off one of my outs in Unholy Heat. So now I need, like, a Dismember. They have 1 card in their hand. I'm at 8. They're drawing a card now. Have they gone through any bolts yet? They've cast 1 bolt so far. I mean, not that I can really play around bolt. They have another lantern. Okay. So, Unholy Heat is off the table. I guess if their last card is Lightning Bolt, Thoughtseize does play around that. And then I would have 2 lethal threats. Right? So I go to 6 and they have a 5/5. I mean, they've kind of played this game like their last card is Lightning Bolt, so... I guess this now puts me dead to, This now puts me dead to Sprite Dragon, but I don't know. I think this is fine. And they get 2 looks at a Bolt, but if they don't find Bolt, we have 2 lethal creatures. So, I don't know. I think that play was good, because we kind of assumed they had Bolt. At least they played as such they had Bolt. So I think that play was fine. That's a bobble. We get another look at Bolt. Let's see if they find it. Seems like they did. That is unfortunate. They bobbled themselves. Well, I guess that doesn't necessarily mean they drew Bolt, because... Yeah. No, well, they didn't find the Bolt. Okay, yeah, because they would have had to attack either way. Because even if they don't attack, then I just fetch this, and this is lethal. So, that was a sweet match. Very interesting games. I feel like we're a little bit favored in the matchup, because we have like these bigger creatures that are much harder for them to kill. We can even get out of Unholy Heat range. But they do have this card, which can be scary if they make it an 8/8, because Unholy Heat can't touch an 8/8 or a 7/7. But yeah, anyways, hope you enjoyed the games. I'll see you back in just a little bit for round number 2. Alrighty, YouTube, we're back here for round number 2. 1-0. Luris, Monkey, Mardu, Shadow. Let's see what we are up against. We have our Luris. Looks like they have a companion. They also have a Luris. We have a turn 1 Monkey. Question is, do we want to lead on Inquisition or Monkey? I think on the play it's higher upside to lead on Monkey. There's like a somewhat decent chance they kill it, but there's also like they could be playing Mill. Mill typically plays Luris, so I don't know. I think it's just higher upside to lead on Ragavan. See? They're not even playing... I guess they could have like Galvanic Blast. So Affinity without Thought Monitor. Oh no, this is probably just Hammer Time. This is Hammer Time. I get it now. Okay. So I think I want to do is kill Esper Sentinel, don't pay for the tax. Attack, see if they want to chump block, and then Inquisition them after that. So, let's bolt this. No. Attack, see if they want to chump block. They might. They don't. Exile the land, probably. Yeah. Alright, now let's go play land. Inquisition you. Giver of Runes, Sigarda's Aid. Second Urza Saga might be a little tough. I'm gonna take, I guess, Sigarda's Aid and just hope that I can get these bigger than their constructs. Because I can Ending the Giver. I guess I can also Ending the Sigarda's Aid, but this is worse if they draw exactly Hammer. So I think I'm gonna take that and just not cast Ending. Alright, Saga goes up to 2. Because they had Drum, they can make a Saga token here, which I assume is what they're going to do. Like, I don't think playing Giver is worth giving up a Saga token here. Especially if I have a removal spell for Giver. Because then, they just kind of get hit by the Ragavan again. So they definitely would much rather play... And they also drew the Inkmoth Nexus, okay. Man, this is tough. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So their sagas are going to be 6/6s. If I attack with Ragavan, it's a 4/4. It's not very good. I could play a Scourge. I mean, if I play Croak, so they're just going to discard Sunbaked Canyon, which is not the worst for me, because then it could potentially make a bigger Scourge next turn. So, like, let's say I play Croxa, they discard Canyon, go to 15, pass. They make a construct, untap, make a construct, hit me for 6. I go to 9. Then next turn I can play Scourge plus Shadow. So I think that makes the most sense to me. We're kind of in a pretty bad spot, though. I don't think I'm going to cast Ending, because I don't want to kill any of this stuff. There was a line where I could go attack with Ragavan, kind of suicide the Ragavan, and then ending the construct token. But I can just ending the construct token next turn anyways. I kind of assume they're going to discard Canyon. Yeah. Alright, no attacks. This thing can just make a construct. Alright, 4/4. So they make another construct. Now they probably get... I guess they could just get Shadow Spear, which is really bad for me. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, their last card's Giver. So it's a 7/7. Yeah, my Scourge isn't even good now. I think I have to take this, draw land, and then go Scourge, Shadow, ending this. I think that's my only path. So Shadow is a 6/6. Huh. So if I ending this and play a Shadow, I'm at 7. Shadow's a 6/6. These are 6/6s, but they can then untap, make a 7th token, and then I have to block. And it's a chump block, which is not very good. Maybe my hope is that they play around like me having a lightning bolt or something, but they probably won't do that. I'm just in a really bad spot either way. Like, if they make an attack with both constructs and I do have a removal spell, they kind of get blown out. But, I don't know, we'll see if they make the attack. Yeah, well, they didn't bite for it. They didn't fall for it. Yeah, it would have been pretty bad for them if I had any removal spell here, like even just a bolt, because they make a 7th construct, then I bolt the Ornithopter. These are 6/6s. I chump block, or I block 1 with Ragavan. Damage happens. I take 6, go to 1. Their thing dies, and I get to keep my Shadow at 1 life. But I guess then I'm at 1 life, and we still have 3 constructs. I'm just trying to think if I have any way out of this. So I can double block a construct. No, because then I'm just dead on board. So I have to chump. Yeah, I don't have any outs. Not having the chump means I definitely don't have any outs. I do think this matchup is highly favorable for us, especially after sideboard. Like, look at how much stuff we're bringing in. I don't really know how they're supposed to beat this. Croaks is too slow. You don't really need TBR. I also think Ragavan is not very good because they just create a bunch of blockers. Even on the play, I'd rather just have as many removal spells as possible and make sure I just never die to nonsense. So, I'm going to do this. There is some consideration with all of this removal to keep in Croxa, but I think this is fine. Like, the matchup after board is so favorable, I don't think you need to keep in a card that, like Croxa, that just may or may not be good. Like in games where they're beating you down and you spend 2 mana for a Croxa, it's not the best. Just have as many removal spells as possible, and you should be fine. That's how I approach this matchup. think I'm going to lead on Channeler. Yeah, I'm going to lead on Channeler. And I'm also going to lead on Blood Crypt, in case I draw another black source, then I can double Thoughtseize. Alright, pass turn. Let's see what they got. They got a Memnite and an Ornithopter. 2 Memnites. Uh-oh. It's aggressive. Let's just fetch first. Get black-white. Because I want to keep my... If there's a good card on top, I want to keep it. That's not a good card. Oh. Alright, well, nice Thoughtseizes. I guess I'm not going to cast the other one. You can go. Sure. Beats. Saga. Sure. They drew... What did they draw? Looks like they're going to cast a spell. Stoneforge Mystic. It's not bad because I have Thoughtseize. I got a hammer. So we know their hand. We drew a shadow, which means I can Thoughtseize shadow. Okay. I could also Colligan's Command. So they're going to make a construct, which is going to be a 5/5? No, because next time I could just dismember the construct. 11. Yeah, let's just do it this way. Let's Thoughtseize them. I would not like another Thoughtseize. Take the hammer. Play this. Play Shadow. Pass. I don't think I'm going to cast Dismember here, because they're not going to main phase the Saga token. Alright, play Nexus, that's fine. I'm not going to cast Dismember here. Inquisition is potentially good for a turn that they put Lurrus in their hand. So... If I attack, they just don't block. Then they make a construct, which I can dismember, and then I can call against command the other one. Or I can just call against command this turn. I think I'm just gonna pass. I don't really want to get aggressive. Yeah, I'm just gonna pass. Like, if I just hold up all my stuff, it feels fairly hard to lose from this position. Yep, so they make a 4/4. They untap, make another one. Most likely. Yeah, that's fine, because I can just call against command. Can let all this happen. So the last card's Sunbaked Canyon. Should put this down here, I guess. Yeah, there we go. That's good. What are they getting? Perhaps a Shadow Spear? Colossus Hammer. You got it. Second Saga might be a little tough to beat. There's no way they're attacking, right? Not into all this mana. I might even be able to blow them out in combat with the Dismember. Because I can Dismember a Memnite? That's a pretty bad use of resources, though. I think I'm just going to call against command, destroy this, and 2 to the Stoneforge. Scry here, or Surveil, excuse me. I always call it Scry. Top. So we're on instant sorcery and land. I know that's not putting Delirium in the graveyard, but I think it's okay. And they have a 5/5, which I can dismember. So we're on instant sorcery land. So we need like an artifact or a creature. Well, I don't really want another land. Okay, this works out perfect for me because now I bolt the Nexus. I'm gonna bin that. I know it's like binning a creature kind of sucks, but I'll top that. Alright, planes we didn't know about. Attack for 9. Guess I'm dead if they find Pure Steel Paladin. Yeah, I'm okay losing to Pure Steel Paladin. I'll accept my beats. Okay. Saga. Planes. Yeah, no attacks. Makes sense. We're drawing a bolt. Maybe I should have not topped the bolt. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I think I have to leave back the shadow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because if I attack with shadow, they chump block with Ornithopter. Right, then they have 1, 2, 3. They make a construct, that's their 4th artifact. They make a second one, that's 5. They get a thing off of the saga, that's 6. And then they would have 7, 8 damage. So I don't think that's very good for me. So I think I'm just going to send the Channeler. And then hold back the shadow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess that's still not great for me because then I have to chump block with the shadow. Yeah, we still somehow might be in a bad spot this game. It's kind of crazy. Urza Saga is just an unreasonable magic card. I guess I could leave the bolt up. Yeah, maybe I should leave up the bolt there instead of putting Luris in my hand. But it feels like after drawing 3 Thoughtseize, a Kolaghan's Command, a Bolt, and a Dismember, and I'm still somehow behind because of this card. It's just like, oh my god. Like, I guess now they just get Shadow Spear. Put it on the construct, make me chump block. Oh, this is not good. This is not good. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, maybe they'll mess up. Maybe they'll deal 6 to the shadow and 1 to me. I mean, I obviously have to block, because if I don't block, I'm dead, but maybe they'll mess up trample damage. Because if they assign 6 to the shadow and 1 to me, the shadow will live, because it'll be a 7/7 with 6 damage on it. Yeah, they chose not to do that. Smart. Good for them. So we need like a prismatic ending. How about a DRC? Yeah, it is astonishing to me that I'm going to lose this game. Well, that has to attack, so might as well attack. Huh. I guess I can Channeler. It's just not even good. Channeler, Bolt, hope to find like a prismatic ending. Chump block with the Channeler. Not in a good spot. I think we would have easily won this game if they didn't draw the second saga, but second saga was kind of a beating. Yeah, as good as this matchup is, it's just, this card just completely turns around the matchup, because whenever they don't have Saga, it's incredibly easy. Like, the matchup before was heavily in Shadow's favor. But with Saga, that definitely changes things. 4, 5, 6, go to 1. I have to cast the bolt anyways, so might as well just... Oh, they're going to let me bolt the Nexus. So if I bolt the Nexus, that's 4, 5, 6. So I go to 1, right? 8, 7, 4, 5, 6. I guess, do I have any outs if I go to 1? At least if I kill this, go to 2, then I draw Ending and then still die to this. Kolaghan's Command? Well, if I draw Kolaghan's Command, I guess it's better to kill the Memnite if I draw Kolaghan's Command. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's fine. I only have 1 Kolaghan's Command left, but... Graveyard, graveyard... So we go to 2. We need a Kolaghan's Command. It's not a Kolaghan's Command. Yeah. Pretty frustrating. I mean, it's really just Urza Saga, right? Like, just imagine that game for a second without Urza Saga. It's, you know, there's no way they can fight through 3 Thoughtseize as a Kolaghan's Command to dismember a Bolt. But, yeah, Urza Saga just turns around the whole matchup. So, hope you enjoyed the games. I'll see you back in just a little bit for round number 3. Alright, everybody, we're back here for round number 3. Currently 1-1 with some Mardu Shadow. Alright, what do we have here? So I can go turn 1, get Blood Crypt, Blade Channeler, Bauble, try and find a second land. So we essentially get a look here, then a Bauble, so we get 3 looks at our second land. Yeah, I'm willing to keep this hand. I mean, obviously, if we don't find a second land, it's kind of awkward, but this hand has a lot of upside. We also have the Croaks in our hand. It's not necessarily the best, but... Alright, Bauble. It's the worst possible land because it doesn't tap for black or white. But I think we have to keep it. So then we'll pass, upkeep, Bauble them, see what they're working with. Basic Island. Okay. Auto yield to that. So we're on Artifact Land. So if I Thoughtseize main phase... is that better than just playing Kroxa? Probably not. I'm just going to play Kroxa here. Also could play Scourge, but I kind of want to protect it against Lightning Bolt. So I think I'm just going to attack, Shock, play Kroxa. And then next turn, like, for example, I can go Thoughtseize into Scourge to take the removal spell or counter spell. And then resolve the Scourge that way. Alright, they got a Triome. Kroxa. This is also a 3rd type, so now we're guaranteed Delirium next turn with the Thoughtseize. They discarded Field, which is awesome for Scourge purposes. Yeah, everything's coming up Millhouse. They have Ending, which is annoying, but again, we have Thoughtseize into Scourge, so I'm okay with that. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Definitely take Teferi. Because they're out to Scourge. That's a lot of stuff going on there. Wilderness Reclamation, huh? So they currently do not have Death Touch, right? At least 3 other snow permanents. Okay. So let's... I think it's just attack and put Lurrus in hand? Because I guess I could dash Ragavan and force the trade, but trade's kind of bad for me. I think I'm just going to send and put Lurrus in hand. And the nice thing is if they play... That's fine. If they play the Ice Fang in combat here... Oh, they're chump blocking. Okay. I'm also fine with that. Alright, I'm still going to Lurrus. Just use all my mana. So they can wreck, which is what they're probably going to do. It's fine. Alright. So, we're at 13. Can't necessarily play the Shadow. I could Lurrus Bauble. Lurrus is not the best against counter spells, but it does use all my mana. Let's attack first and see what they do. I guess this is bad if they have another Ice Fang. They're at 10. Alright, let's just play Lurrus, get our card out of it. Play Bobble. Bobble you. They're drawing Expansion Explosion. Okay. Do they have another Wreck? Which I guess is free. So they have 8 mana, which means they can do this for 6? No. Do it for 4. So I guess they kill Lurrus? But if they tap out to kill Lurrus, they just die. And they can't kill this, so... I guess they're just dead? Because then I could just fetch shock, make this a 10-10. Assuming they tap out for expansion, which they probably have to because they have nothing else, right? Yeah, so this is only for 4, which means they can't kill the Scourge, so yeah, they should just be dead. Lure us down. Play a fetch land. Kill them. Alright, game 2 against Wilderness Reclamation and Modern, huh? Alright, well this kills Wreck, so it's gotta be good. Colligan's Command seems decent. Probably want Bobs. Unholy Heat does kill Ice Fang, but I think Ending is actually kind of bad because it doesn't tag Ice Fang in combat, which is kind of when you really want it most. And then I think I usually cut the Dismember and the TBRs against control. We'll keep max discard spells. Keep the Seal because we still have Channeler, and this one actually kills Ice Fang in combat, so it kills it at instant speed. And everything else looks pretty good. So let's do that. Yeah, it looks good. Pretty sure Ending is the worst removal spell. Also, we can really... Without Ragavan, we can't ever touch Reclamation with it because we need X equals... We need to converge it for 4. The Sand is a turn 1 Ragavan and an answer to an Ice Fang, so this has to be a keep. They could have Ending, but... Ooh. That's a good follow-up. I will take that. This is a nice little 1-2. So even if they have Ending for Ragavan, we just slam Dark Confidant. And if they just pass with 2 mana up, I'm going to play the Seal before combat so I can kill the Ice Fang if they go to block it. But I imagine they probably have Ending. This is a sick little curve, though. They got Ketria, which means maybe they don't have Ending? Well, that's good. Alright, we'll cast Seal of Fire pre-combat. So remember, if they play Ice Fang in combat, I can then kill it. I will attack. See what they choose to do. They choose to do nothing. Hinterland Harbor. I think I'm going to hang on to the fetch land in case I draw Bobble. And I'll just play Bob. They have Counterspell? Seems like. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Maybe leading on Scourge is better versus Counterspell, but I weren't sure if they were like a... I guess if they had Bolt, they would have bolted this. Because I kind of would rather stick the Bob than... Like guaranteed resolve the Bob through a counterspell. Expressive Iteration. Seems fine. Cryptic Command entered the Exile Zone. That's probably not where they want that. Perfect. So let's attack first. We can Thoughtseize Scourge and hold up Wear Tear in case they have Wreck. I can't cast Growth Sprout because you need blue and green mana. So let's just go Thoughtseize first. I will take Teferi because the rest of the cards I don't really care about. Get a Godless Shrine. Play Scourge. Pass. And then if they play Wreck, even if they draw a land for Wreck, we can just kill the Wreck. Sure, that's fine. Doesn't even have Death Touch. Can still kill it, which I probably will. Yeah, this game seems kind of over. Alright, kill this. Attack with both. I think I am going to bolt them. It's a little aggressive, but puts them to 2. And we have Colligan's Command in hand. And no reason to do anything. I'm just going to pass. I don't want them to like counter the Colligan's Command if they have Force Negation. Alright, well now they cast Wreck and probably die. Because we have Wear Tear. We just don't need to show them the Colligan's... I mean, it is game 2, but... You know, if they have Force Negation, I guess even if they have Force, we have 4 mana, so we can Call against command and still cast Wear Tear. So I guess at that point there's just no outs anyways. So I don't know. Probably didn't matter. Yeah, matchups like this are generally very good for Death Shadow. Their removals, I mean, they have Prismatic Ending, but yeah, just a good showcase of why Ragavan is so busted. So, not much to say about that game. I will see you back in just a little bit for round number 4. Alright, everybody, we're back here for round number 4. We are 2-1. Let's see what we got. We have some Thoughtseizes, a Channeler. Okay, I think I'm fine with this. Probably going to lead on Channeler. We'll see what they do, / see what we draw, but I'm probably going to lead on Blood Crypt, so if I draw another Black Source, I can double Thoughtseize on 2. Also, if I draw a Fetch Land, I can go Fetch Shock, that's 6 damage, which is plus the Thoughtseize, so I can go like Channeler into second Fetch plus Thoughtseize Shadow. So, we'll see what they're playing. Forest Amulet. Okay. Maybe that changes things. Because now I kind of want to just get the Death Shadow in play. So I can go Fetch Shock 17, Thoughtseize 15. Next turn... Well, I guess I don't have a second Black Source. But it's probably better for me to go Thoughtseize, and if I don't draw a Fetch Land, then I can go Channeler into Thoughtseize. So let's do it that way, I think. Because I want to take Dryad if they have Bounce Land. Yeah, okay, so I'm just going to take Dryad here. The next turn I can take Pact. Because they have the Growth Chamber. If I don't take Dryad, they can just go Growth Chamber, Dryad, yada yada, all that stuff. Wonder if I draw a Black Source, like a Fetch Land. Okay, well we didn't. So now let's go Channeler, Thoughtseize. Then we're looking for probably a Black Source here. Basic Mountain does nothing for us, so I don't want to keep that. Just take Pact. They have a Ghost Quarter and a Growth Chamber. We have Sorcery Land right now. Let's see what they do. Play Ghost Quarter. Green, green, explore. Alright, so Growth Chamber and... Growth Chamber and what? They're going to pick up Forest, probably. Yeah, so they have Forest, 1 unknown. Another Explore. Alright, so we don't know their last card. Hopefully find a Black Source, because I kind of want to play Thoughtseize this turn. It's tough. Oh, I can just Croaks of them. Yeah, let's Croaks of them. It's kind of the same thing as playing Thoughtseize, but it uses our mana more efficiently, and it's better if their last card is specifically Teleria West, because it also deals them 3 damage. It was a Titan. Alright, so they have access to 5 mana, no cards in hand. If they draw Teleria West, that's fine, because they have to transmute it on their turn, and then we can Thoughtseize the Pact. They drew a Dryad. Okay, so we have Creature, Land, Sorcery. Huh. I do have a TBR, which does turn on Delirium. If I attack... If I attack and they block, I can TBR the Dragon's Rage Channeler to just kill the Dryad, because it'll then be a 3/3. I think that's actually fine. And then if they don't do anything, then I just play Shadow. Like, if they don't block, I just say, okay, take 1, play Shadow. Maybe it's kind of a spew here. But this is also bad if I have Bolt, right? Because they know I'm missing an instant. So if they block and I have Bolt, it's pretty bad for them. Yeah, so they just don't block. Makes sense. Play a Shadow. Pass. I could play a 2/2 Scourge, but I can deal myself 2 damage, plus I have a Thoughtseize, so I'm more likely to be able to attack with Shadow next turn. So I'm just going to deal myself a point here to pump the Shadow. Oh, why didn't I play Channeler? I just forgot about Channeler. That was really bad. I should have 100% played Channeler there. I don't know, I just kind of blanked. Yeah, that was a whoopsies. So... let's play Channeler first, and then attack with both. Yeah, that was really bad. I don't know why I didn't play Channeler last turn. Okay, so if I TBR this, I go to 8, so it's 5, 10, 13. Alright, 5 damage. Hope they don't draw Titan. Yeah, I messed this up. I think I could have been attacking for lethal if I had just played the Channeler last turn. This was really bad. Hopefully, I mean, I'm probably going to get punished for it. Yeah, I definitely should have played. There was no reason to not play Channeler that turn, obviously. But they draw Titan, I'm dead. Because they just get some Valakites, and I'm at 8, so. They draw Valakut. Valakut doesn't kill me. What if they draw Teleria West? Oh, maybe they drew Teleria West. But they don't have enough for West plus Titan, right? Okay, Sanctuary's not going to cut it. Alright, somehow did not get punished. I definitely deserved to get punished. I just brain farted and didn't play the Channeler for no reason. But we still got there. Alright. Yeah, I guess this is fine too. Some lists don't play TBR, so I think I'd rather show them ending than TBR. Maybe not, though. Because they didn't actually see, like, a white shockland, so they don't necessarily know that I'm playing white, so maybe I'm supposed to show them TBR there. It's kind of marginal. Alright, Wear Tear is very good. Unholy Heat kills Titan, so I think you want it. Kolaghan's Command is not bad, but it's kind of slow. Explosives also kills Construct, so there's something to be said about that. You can also, like, Explosives on 1 and tag an Amulet, but I'm just not a huge fan of it. I think Croxo is a little too slow. And because you're bringing in Unholy Heat, I don't think you need Dismember as much, and you have this for Dryad anyways. And then the last cut... On the draw... I could cut an ending, I could cut a discard spell... I can also cut a Ragavan. I don't want to cut the Seal because I'm bringing in Unholy Heat, so I want access to Delirium more often. I think I'll just cut a Ragavan. The thing about Ragavan is when they're on the play, they can go turn 1 Amulet, turn 2 Dryad, and just blank your Ragavan. So that's kind of why I don't like it as much on the draw. On the play, I might bring it back in because it is way better on the play. It is much better on the play. But I'm not as much of a fan of it on the draw, with the prospect of turn 2 Dryad. Yeah, I messed that game up pretty bad by not playing the channel. There was just no reason not to. I just kind of my mind escaped me for a moment there. All right, let's see if we can defeat the Amulet Menace. Alright, game 2, on the draw. There's our Luris. We have 2 copies of Wear Tear. This hand is kind of weird. I kind of want to keep it, though. I want to see if I can keep a hand like this. I think this is more of a speculative keep than anything. I think in the long run, this hand is probably going to end up being a mulligan. Okay, well, I can kill that. So that's not bad. Let's go flat, get, if I draw Thoughtseize, I want to get Godless Shrine, because then I can go Thoughtseize Death Shadow. So, let's just get Godless Shrine. Let's kill this. I think I'm just going to cycle the Bauble, because I want to try and find some action. We have a Growth Chamber. Okay. Hopefully they just play like a Saga and an Amulet, and then I can just clean it up with Wear Tear. Okay, there's a Relic. Alright. Draw a card off the Bauble. There's a channeler. So 15, 12. I think I should crack the fetch here. Get a Blood Crypt. And that way if I draw a Death Shadow, or excuse me, if I draw another fetch land next turn, then I can make a slightly bigger Death Shadow. It's just one more. Alright, they didn't activate the Relic. That was probably a misclick. I could have also blown up the Relic there while they were tapped out, which isn't an unreasonable play. Okay. Yeah, because now I can't really kill it because they have mana up. That's good, though. Now I can Thoughtseize Shadow. Let's Thoughtseize first. We are going to bin a bunch of cards that we have to end up shipping. Well, we're binning a bunch of cards into the Relic, which kind of sucks, but... Oh. Their hand is just all lands. Alrighty, then. Alright, play a Shadow. I mean, I do look kind of foolish with these Wear Tears in hand, but... I mean, I assume they're going to crack this, given they have no action. They're choosing not to sack the Relic, which is interesting. What are we missing? Creature, excuse me, Artifact, Sorcery, Land. So we're missing instant. The thing is, they're not going to tap out for Relic, so... They drew an Amulet. Okay. So we still another whole hand. They play a Growth Chamber, pick up Breeding Pool. So their hand is those 4 plus Breeding Pool. Alright, I am going to kill the Amulet here. I should probably fetch first. Because I want to fetch this turn because of Death Shadow. And I want to make sure they can't play Titan next turn. That's why I'm casting this. And I think that's more important than putting Lurrus in my hand, because they have the Relic to basically blank the Lurrus anyways. I would not like to draw a land. This also turns on Delirium, so they kind of have to crack the Relic now. Because they don't want to take 9 damage. Yeah, because they're going to end up doing this anyways. They might as well just do it now. So they take 7, go to 12. And then we still have Wear Tear up for Amulet or Dryad, potentially. So remember, they have these 4 plus a Breeding Pool. And then 2 unknowns. Draw step plus Relic. Draw a card. Okay, that's one of their unknowns. I guess I should just cast the Wear Tear now, because I get to Surveil. Lightning Bolt. 6, 7, they go to 5. What's a better draw than Lightning Bolt? I mean, probably just a discard spell, right? Because it's the same clock either way. Yeah, I think Lightning Bolt's kind of a mediocre draw. Rather just have a discard spell. Yeah, even that's better. Just gets me a Blood Crypt. Alright, attack for 10, they go to 2. And they don't have Amulet, they only have access to 4 mana. They also don't have a castle. So I feel like we're fine. I guess they could draw a Dryad the chump block, but... Bojuka Bog is whatever. Do they have a chump blocker? They do have a chump blocker. Alright. Well, now if they have an untapped land, they could Titan. That's not the best draw. Attack with both. I mean, I could cast it just to Surveil one, but they go to 5 here. Alright, pass. Let's see if they have the Titan. It's going to be a little awkward if they do. It seems like they do. Okay, this game's not over. I guess they do have to chump block the Death Shadow. Right? It actually ends up being a trade, right? They got a garden. So we need a TBR. I should probably heat the plant just to try and get me closer towards TBR. Because I gotta kill the plant anyways. Graveyard. So now we're on the land instant. Yeah, so attack with everything. The Death Shadow ends up actually being a trade because I gain 3 life in combat. Their Titan still dies, though. What's the other land they got? They got Colony Garden, Radiant Fountain. Okay. So they go to 3. Play Shadow from the graveyard. Shadow from hand. Pass turn. See if they have another Titan. Now if they have another Titan, I don't even know if it's good enough. Now that we have this wide of a board. So I think even if they have a second Titan, it's probably not good enough. Unless they can get Dryad as well. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think they're a little short. Yeah, I think they're a little short. Unless they have Amulet, but... Alright. 3 and 1. I think the Amulet matchup is pretty close. They have some really busted draws that are kind of hard for you to interact with, especially ones that involve double Amulet, you know, off of Urza Saga. But when they don't have their busted draws, I think it's you can assemble a quick clock because they don't really interact with you. So I think when they don't do their thing, like their best possible thing, you're favored. But it's overall, I think, a pretty close matchup. But 3 and 1, not too bad. Hope we can go ahead and get the 4-1. I'll see you back in just a little bit for the last round. YouTube, we are back here for the 5th and final round. Mardu Death Shadow. What do we got? Luris Mirror. Yikes. These 2 Ragavans are... this hand's too bad. I mean, if I was in the play, maybe I could keep turn 1 Ragavan. Okay, this hand's not bad. It is a 1-lander, but... I think I'm going to put back the second Channeler. Maybe I'm supposed to put back Ragavan on the draw? Not sure which one of those is correct. Polluted Delta. So how much do I want to hit my second land drop? I mean, because I have a second Ragavan, I kind of want to lead on Ragavan. So I think what I want to do is play Ragavan and just cycle the Bauble. I could save the Bauble for Channeler, but it's more likely I hit my second land drop immediately if I play the Bauble now. So that's why I'm choosing to play Bauble. And I'm choosing to play Ragavan because it's higher upside, and if they kill it, I have a second one, so... Alright, well, they didn't kill it upkeep. Are they playing Mill? Alright, they have a push on top. So that's going to be cast. They are playing Mill. Okay. Pretty sure Mill is a good matchup. Traditionally for Death Shadow. Alright, there's the push. Alright, we need a land here. There we go. So this is kind of awkward. Because normally, I would want to play Channeler before Thoughtseize, because I'm not going to play the Ragavan because we know they have Crab. Normally I'd play Channeler before Thoughtseize, however, because of the presence of Archive Trap, I don't really want to fetch before... Yeah, so I think I'm willing to give up a Scry here to just play Thoughtseize first, so I can take their trap if they have one. They have 2. Okay, so we can... Oh, but they have Field of Ruin. Whoops, hold on, I didn't mean to do that. Let's put this back. So because they have Field of Ruin anyways, there's really no point in waiting. Right, so what I was thinking is take Trap, and then not fetch, just don't play anything this turn. And then next turn, I can... take the other trap, but they have Field of Ruin, so what they can do is go Field of Ruin, activate Field of Ruin, force me to shuffle, and then cast the trap anyways. So now the question is, do I take a trap, or do I just take the Visions? Because I think if I take trap, the Visions is still turned on, right? Because this is 13 plus 5 is 18 plus, yeah, so I think I just have to take Visions and accept the fact that I get milled for 26. It sucks. But I think I have to do it this way. And I think I just need to get Blood Crypt. Yeah, it's kind of awkward because if I draw Prismatic Ending, I don't necessarily have access to white mana. But, yeah, this is not a great spot. Their draw, like, them having the second trap was super awkward. Alright, so the last card's Field of Ruin. We have 21 cards in our deck. As long as they don't mill all our fetchables. You have a Crypt, a Foundry, and they didn't mill any basics. So we have a Godless in both basics, right? I think? Yeah, we have a Godless in both basics left. They drew a Crab. So we go to 15 cards. There's the Godless in the Swamp, so we only have a Mountain left. That's bad. Okay. And they have no cards. So we only have a Mountain left. Which means this is going to be a Stone Rain. Yeah, this is pretty bad for us. This is pretty bad. What do we even have left? Not even sure we can physically win this game anymore. We get some shadows. I guess draw a shadow and then have TBR. That's like the one way I can get out of this. So I guess I'll attack. There's no point in like casting Thoughtseize just to surveil because they're just gonna mill me anyways. Alright, attack for 3. We're on the hook for at least a mill for 6. I mean, I'm gonna put Lurrus in my hand. It doesn't do anything because they're just gonna blow up my land, but I don't know. Maybe they choose to put Lurrus in their hand instead of... Yeah, that's not gonna happen. So I think we're dead to a fetch land. 6, 9, 12. Okay, well, we don't have any outs because we got a 1 card in our deck. So we just don't have any outs. Mill, huh? I feel like Mill should be a really good matchup. Alright, Call Against Command's good. Prismatic Ending is awesome. We can't Soul Guide ourselves to turn off, Visions of Beyond, so this might be a reason to play Spellbomb over Soul Guide Lantern, but I don't think it's actually very good. Explosives can kill a couple crabs. What's bad? I'm not even sure. Like, all my cards seem good. In theory. I think Croaks is awesome. And you just, like, trim on Ragavan. Because they have the 0-3 to block it, but I don't have enough removal spells. I guess Thoughtseize is not the best. Or, like, some of the discard, like 1 Inquisition, maybe. And... I mean, honestly, maybe Call Against... Nah. I'm gonna say maybe Call Against Command's too slow, but... Yeah, I actually think it might be too slow on the play. I'm just gonna run it back. I don't really think we need to do anything. I feel like we just have all the tools we need main deck. I mean, yeah, there is some consideration of bringing Call Against Command because they mill you a bunch of cards, but it's slow, and if they mill over a bunch of fetchable lands and they have Field of Ruin, it's kind of hard to cast. So I'm not a huge fan of that. I don't think we need more removal because we have 4 Bolt, 4 Ending, and a Dismember to kill their crabs. So I just think we have access to everything that we need already. I don't really think we need to change anything. I don't want to like slow down my deck because we need to be aggressive in this matchup. Very, very aggressive. But I do think we should be favored. That game was just a little awkward because they had both traps. Their hand was just really good against Thoughtseize because they had both traps and the vision, so I was basically forced to take visions and kind of just hope they bricked. But, okay. I'll play first. This hand's awesome. Just going to play Ragavan on turn 1. Yeah, if they have trap, but... Got trapped. Good. I've successfully been trapped. We have Dark Slick Shores on top. Removal spell or bust. Let's see if they have the push. Alright, choosing not to cast it now. I am going to attack. Attack. I should have done that on their turn to play around potential protection spell. Alright, well, Thoughtseize before fetching in case they drew another trap. Do they have surgical? No. Crab, push visions. Well, we have 2 removal spells, so I'll just take push visions. I think I'll get the white source. Oh, I don't have they've milled both my white sources. Well, let's hope I don't draw an ending, I guess. That would suck. Alright. We have both crabs covered. We do need to deal them damage, though. That's the awkward part about this. Alright, crab, land, probably second crab. Yeah, okay. So we don't know what their last card is. I think I have to kill both crabs now. Pass, upkeep, bobble them. Need a Death Shadow. Fractured Sanity. Okie dokie. Are they going to cycle that? Alright, playing crab. Yep. Yep. Ragavan, kind of embarrassing against an 0-3. I guess we're just going to put Larissa in our hand. Alright. Because I can't play Scourge, Ragavan doesn't attack past an 0-3. So they get to, even if they brick on land, they get to pick this up, replay it. They draw land, they can go land, hardcast Sanity. Oh my goodness, their draws have been so good. I think we're actually going to lose this game. Because we go to 20 cards. Yeah, this is crazy. Their draws were kind of insane both games, to be fair. But... at 19 cards. I mean, I guess we're not dead, but... Man, that's a frustrating way to end the league. Because I do believe this matchup is quite favorable. But their draws were insane. They have a Mesmeric Orb, which puts me to 16 cards. Or they can just go pick this up first, replay it, 13, 10 cards. I mean, I just don't realistically have any outs, right? Because even at a bare minimum, I go to 10, draw to 9. At a bare minimum, they can pick this up, replay it, which is 6 more. So, yeah, and then they just have the sanity to kill me. Right. Yeah, so I'm just dead, right? They pick this up, go to 2 cards, cycle sanity, I'm dead. Yeah, pretty frustrating way to end the league. I do think that matchup is heavily favorable in Death Shadow's favor. But with that, let's take a look at the deck and see what we like, what we didn't like. To be honest with you, the way that those games played out, I'm not sure that Scourge of the Skyclaves is even where you want to be anymore. As good as Death Shadow is, I think with the presence of mana bases that don't deal themselves damage and the presence of the food decks, you saw how bad Scourge was against just food. I'm not sure that Scourge is necessarily where we want to be. So I wonder if this deck just wants to be more of a mid-range deck, just not have the Shadow plan, like cut Shadow, cut Scourge, cut TBR, play Channeler, play Ragavan, play some more mid-range threats, like potentially Dothy Voidwalker, which is very good in combination with discard spells. But yeah, I just think that Shadow might be at the point where Shadow is just not where you want to be anymore. But in any case, if you made it all the way to the end of the video, I hope you enjoyed the games. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one.